Hello, here is our new story. It's called My Sister's Got a Spoon Up Her Nose, and the author is Jeremy Strong. Before we start this story, I would like you to have a think about what genre of story do you think this is? Do you think it is a scary story, a science fiction story, a historic novel, a fantasy story? What type of story do you think it is? Pause the video and have a chat with your adult, and when you tell them what sort of story you think it is, please can you give reasons why you think that? Okay, what did you decide? What type of story? The clues I'm looking at the bit at the top that says laugh your socks off with Jeremy Strong. So that suggests to me that we're going to be laughing, which makes me think it's a funny story. And then the other clues that make me think that are we've got a cartoon style picture here of a little baby with a spoon stuck up her nose, which matches the title, but again that makes me think it's going to be a funny story because that's really not a usual situation. The boy in the background looks absolutely horrified, but again in a cartoon style, not in a real life style, and the style of the writing and all these pink and red lines coming in to draw your attention to the baby, again, make me think that it's going to be a funny story, particularly since there's a comedy arrow pointing to the spoon that we couldn't possibly miss anyway. So at the minute, looking at all the clues on the front, I think it's going to be a funny story. Let's check the blurb. How was I to know Tomato would put the spoon up her nose instead of on it? Nicholas's sister has had a cutlery-related accident, and it's more dangerous than it sounds. Now his dad's taking part in the hospital's 3-mile challenge, and that means beating the dreaded Mr. Tugg. How could one spoon cause so much trouble? Well, the blurb sounds fairly serious, doesn't it? That doesn't seem to match the funny style on the front. However, down here it says, warning, side effects include split sides, aching cheeks, and tears of laughter. So I think probably the funny story does fit, but I think it sounds like there are going to be serious aspects as well. Let's find out. Chapter 1, Emergency. Can you already work out what the emergency is? My sister's got a spoon up her nose. Yep, we were right. That's the emergency. She has, honest. She stuck it up there herself. How daft can you get? Sometimes I think my whole family's daft, except for me, of course, and Mum. Mum says it's all Dad's fault. I didn't put it there, he said. If you hadn't been showing everyone how to hang a spoon on the end of your nose, it wouldn't have happened, Mum answered. How was I to know Tomato would put the spoon up her nose instead of on it? Mum sighed. Her name is Rebecca, as you well know. Tomato is a silly name. Maybe, but the back of a pizza van is a very silly place to give birth to twins. I think Cheese and Tomato suit the pair of them. That's because you're an idiot, said Mum. Oh, Mum, that's a bit of a rude word. I wouldn't expect to be hearing you call your husband that. And I might remind you that it was your fault I gave birth to the twins in the back of a pizza van in the first place. If you'd got me to hospital in time, it would never have happened. Now then, how are we going to get that spoon out? We looked at Tomato. She was sitting in her high chair with a silly smile on her face and a plastic teaspoon hanging out of one nostril. She went cross-eyed, trying to look at it. Pooh, she gurgled. Everything's poo as far as Tomato is concerned. It's her favourite word. Spoon, corrected Mum. Spoon. Close, Mum and Dad, while Tomato's twin brother Cheese picked up his spoon and began jabbing at his nose. No, I said in alarm, snatching it from him. Why do you think the big brothers just snatched the spoon from Cheese? Remember, he was jabbing at his nose. What do you think Cheese was trying to do? See what you've started? Demanded Mum. Dad looked at me as if to say, now what have I done? I know how he feels. He'd he does get the blame for quite a lot that happens in our house. There's a good reason for this. He often is to blame, but how could anyone know that Tomato would stick the spoon up her nose instead of on it? Dad had been showing us the spoon trick. Can you do it? You hang a spoon from your nose by licking the spoony end and balancing it over your nose tip. Even Mum had a go, until she noticed Tomato happily pushing her spoon in the wrong hole. We can't just pull it out, she warned. It might do some damage. Well, we can't leave it there either, Dad said grimly. Suppose she grows up like that. Who'd want to marry a girl with a spoon sticking out of one nostril? I suppose if she's lucky, she might find a boy with a spoon sticking up his nose. Yes, and he'll be called Cheese. He's doing it again. Quick, Nicholas, get that spoon from your baby brother. It was true. Cheese was gaily trying to stick yet another teaspoon into his nose. It didn't fit, so he started poking at his ear. I grabbed it just in time. Okay, so there's the start of our story. Do you think it's fitting, the idea of the front cover, that it's a funny one? Today, I would like you, please, to think of 2 questions you can ask me about the beginning of the story, and I will do my best to answer your 2 questions with a full sentence answer. So your question's probably going to need to begin with a question word like who, what, why, when, where. I look forward to getting your questions. Bye for now.